Dr. Robert M. Gates.
Good to be back home. My head and my work today are in one place, but my heart is in another, here in Aggie land. Much has changed since I first arrived here as interim dean of the Bush School nearly 10 years ago. Hundreds of millions of dollars worth of new academic and athletic buildings, completed and under construction, dot the campus. A vastly expanded faculty, an even larger and more diverse student body, geographically, ethnically, culturally, new and innovative academic programs, new research programs and institutes, national and international esteem and recognition. Change is pervasive, as it should be in a great university. But while as a great public university, Texas A&M is always changing, what is it that stays the same? A&M is a unique American institution because its excellence is built on a firm foundation of time-honored and proven values and treasured traditions. The Aggie culture is grounded in patriotism, religious faith, however expressed, love of family, loyalty to one another, an old-fashioned work ethic, a sense of duty and the importance of service to others and to our country, and a shared belief in the supreme importance of character and integrity. It was because of these values and Texas A&M's extraordinary history of service to the nation that I came here to be president in 2002, the place where I believed I would conclude my public service. Aggie's treasured tradition, even while leading and shaping the future. Texas A&M's future is bright because it is anchored in a resplendent past. This great university was built by men with rough hands, most from poor families, men who came here often with little more than the shirt on their backs, but with the determination and the grit to succeed. As the decades passed, they developed traditions that would forever keep alive the deep bond with each other cemented by hard work, sacrifice, sweat, and camaraderie. Those 19th century traditions, Corps of Cadets traditions, military traditions, remain the foundation of the Aggie spirit in the 21st century. Underpinning all of Texas A&M's traditions is the importance of character and integrity, expressed in the Aggie Code of Honor. An Aggie does not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do. In a time when we are all aware of the social, political, and economic costs of people too often in leadership positions who lie, cheat, and steal, this university must remain steadfast in its commitment to inculcate integrity and character in every part of the campus community and teach in every class the importance of ethical behavior. Virtually all Aggie traditions have a common theme: the Aggie family. Silver Taps, the 12th Man, Midnight Yell, Howdy, Elephant Walk, the Corps of Cadets, Aggie Ring, the Big Event, Fish Camp, and until the tragedy of a decade ago, Bonfire. All these traditions are about keeping alive the deep bonds of friendship and affection born here during student days, the same bonds so important to Aggies from the university's first days. Always for me, though, muster is the greatest of Aggie traditions. Tradition holds that Aggies gathered together on June 26, 1883, to live over again their college days, the victories and defeats won and lost upon the drill field and classroom. Eventually, the annual gathering evolved into a celebration of Texas independence on San Jacinto Day, April 21st. In 1922, April 21st became the official day of events for all Aggies, and muster was born. The March 1923 Texas Aggie urged, if there is an A&M man in 100 miles of you, you are expected to get together, eat a little, and live over the days you spent at the A&M College of Texas. In 1942, Aggie Muster gained international recognition when 25 men, led by General George Moore, class of 1908, mustered during the Japanese siege of Corregidor to remember campus friendships and honor Aggies who had died. All the participants in that historic muster expecting soon to join them. Muster is an old military term, referring in an earlier age to the periodic gatherings of soldiers from far-flung units to report that they still lived, to see old friends, and to get paid. Muster is the essence of Aggie culture and spirit. This ceremony has no parallel in any other institution in America, not in the armed forces, not in CIA, not in business, and certainly not in any other college or university. Tonight's observance, here and in hundreds of other places all over the world, including Iraq and Afghanistan, is not just to remember those Aggies who have passed away during the last year. We also reaffirm the unbreakable bond that links the newest fish to the oldest former student, and indeed to all the generations of Aggies who have walked these treasured grounds over the past 132 years. Muster means even more to me today than it did when I was here because of what I do now. To be honest, having been president of Texas A&M has made being Secretary of Defense more difficult for me. For I cannot help but contrast walking this campus as president and seeing thousands of students 18 to 25 years old in T-shirts and shorts and backpacks going to class. And now as secretary, walking a forward operations base in the wilds of Afghanistan and seeing young Americans the same age as the students here, but in full body armor. Or seeing them grievously wounded at Walter Reed or Bethesda or other hospitals. Or receiving them home one last time at Dover. They've all voluntarily put their lives on the line and put their dreams aside in order to protect your freedom to achieve your dreams. We are engaged in 2 wars, and every man and woman in combat today, in harm's way, is there because I sent them. Since the hour I was sworn in as Secretary of Defense, 1,327 American men and women in uniform have been killed in combat in Iraq and Afghanistan. 10,443 have been wounded. Each of them is in my thoughts and prayers every day, and will be every day for the rest of my life. As in all of our nation's wars since 1876, Aggies have served and are serving in today's wars with distinction. They remember where they came from. Listen to the words of a class of 2000 Aggie serving as a first lieutenant in the 101st Airborne, who emailed a friend on campus on the eve of the war in Iraq in 2003. He wrote, "Currently I am sitting in the Kuwaiti desert. My current position as an artillery battery executive officer in the 101st Airborne Division has me realizing that I will be facing combat in a matter of days. It had occurred to me that there are several reasons why I am here. now getting ready to do what I am about to do. I've talked to my family. I've talked to my friends. I haven't yet talked to anyone at my school. There is something different about being here after having gone through those experiences unique to Aggie Land. I know this because of the junior officers I see around me every day and the manner in which they carry themselves and the manner in which they perceive their soldiers. This is an attempt to explain that as I see it in my eyes. A&M has a special way of putting you in your place. I certainly don't mean that in a bad way. You truly become part of something bigger than yourself and realize the dependence each of us has on one another. Going through the Corps of Cadets is, to this day, the hardest thing I have ever done in my life. And to this day, it is the most valuable lesson of my life. Learning that leadership is all about relationships and trust and values, things that many young people don't learn other places. These are invaluable lessons. As I come to understand the ramifications of what I do, that is, train to commit violence on behalf of the American people, I realize that it is exactly those values I learned at Texas A&M that I can rely on. As sophomores in the Corps, we were always taught to love our fish. If I had one thing to say to the commissionees of this year's graduating class, I would tell them above all else, love their soldiers, Marines, and airmen. My soldiers are my heroes. They come from across the country. They grew up without the benefits I had in my life. For one reason or another, they serve the United States of America every day. Their daily routine and sacrifices are the bedrock and foundation of what makes this country safe. I am humbled every day by the sacrifices they make, by their hard work, and by their willingness to serve despite the circumstances. As an officer and being allowed the benefits of an officer, they will always be my heroes. So as this campaign gets set to begin, I would like to thank you for what Texas A&M has gifted me. I pray that as things begin, the prayers of the faculty, staff, and students are with the brave young men and women who serve in the armed forces. A&M as an institution has done a great service to this country in the manner in which it serves the nation. Again, I ask for your prayers for my heroes. Lord willing, we will all be home soon. In the meantime, I look forward to seeing my buddies on the high ground. That email was sent 6 long years ago. In that time, 22 Aggies have made the supreme sacrifice for their country in Iraq and Afghanistan. 10 of them were students when I was president. I signed the diplomas of 4 of them, shook their hands and handed those diplomas to them, and witnessed their commissioning. For 8 of them, I probably signed the paper that sent them into combat. And for 9, I wrote the condolence letters to their parents. So I ask your indulgence tonight for me to call the muster for them, for these Aggie heroes. And I ask that you stand and respond with a resounding "here" for each of the 22, lest we ever forget their sacrifice. First Lieutenant Jonathan Rozier, class of '01. Here. Captain Lyle Gordon, class of '97. Here. Captain Sean Sims, class of '94. Here. Captain Todd Christmas, class of 2000. Here. Captain Ernesto Blanco, class of '98. Here. First Lieutenant Doyle Huffstetler III, class of '01. Here. Major Matthew Worrell, class of '94. Here. Captain Sean Lyerly, class of '98. Here. Specialist Daniel Gomez, class of '08. Specialist William Edwards, class of 06. First Lieutenant Jeremy Ray, class of 04. First Lieutenant Matthew Vandegrift, class of 03. First Lieutenant Timothy Cunningham, class of 04. Mark Humphreys, class of 74. Sergeant William Mewson, class of 03. Chief Warrant Officer Richard Salter, class of 85. First Lieutenant Ryan Sanders, class of 01. Captain Blake Russell, class of 98. Sergeant First Class Meredith Howard, class of 76. Lance Corporal Luke Yepson, class of 08. Second Lieutenant Peter Burks, class of 03. Corporal Christopher West, class of 04. May they, heroes all, rest in peace eternally, in God's hands, and in the loving embrace of the Aggie family. Thank you. Sit down. Of all of our traditions, muster is greatest. Tears will be shed tonight for men and women most of us have never known personally. But they are Aggies, and so we mourn them and we miss them. And we remember them and we celebrate their lives. The English poet John Donne wrote in 1624, "No man is an island entire of itself. Any man's death diminishes me." Tonight, Aggies are diminished by our losses of the past year, but we are restored by memories and by knowing that the chain remains unbroken, that a new generation of Aggies will take their place in the long line, remembering and celebrating the past, even as the university moves boldly into the future. We stand and build on the shoulders of those who have gone before. They are our strong foundation. They are our family. Tonight, we will answer here, knowing that when our time to go home comes, someone will say also for us, here. This is the Aggie spirit. This is the Aggie family. Both will endure. So softly call the muster.